This is Virendra. This moment I am inspired to share with my beloved friends the philosophy of Lord Buddha, the enlightened man who preached Buddhism. His teachings are full of noble paths, great ideas, by following which man can be liberated from sufferings. As we all know, the root cause of suffering is desire, attachment, ignorance, and that's why the cycle of births. It's a great pleasure for me to highlight some of his great thoughts at this moment. Buddha says, just as a strong wind has no hold upon a mighty rock, so Mara has no hold upon a man who does not live in the pursuit of pleasure, who has good control of his senses, who knows how to moderate his appetite, who is endowed with unshakable faith, and who wastes not his energy. It is faith in one's own possibilities, the certitude that whatever the difficulties, whatever the obstacles, whatever the imperfection, even the negation in the being, one is born for the realization and one will realize. The will must not falter, therefore must be persevering, and the faith unshakable. Then instead of spending years to realize what one has to realize, one can do it in a few months, sometimes even in a few days, and if there is sufficient intensity, in a few hours. That is to say, you can take a position within yourself, and no bad will that attacks the realization will have any more power over you than the storm has over a rock. After that, the way is no longer difficult. It becomes extraordinary interesting. Wonderful it is to train the mind so swiftly moving, seizing whatever it wants. Good is it to have a well-trained mind, for a well-trained mind brings happiness. Living life every moment in love, grace and gratitude. Just as a tree, though cut down, sprouts up again if its roots remain uncut and firm, even so, until the craving that lies dormant is rooted out, suffering springs up again and again. Crushing out of the conceit, I am. This is the highest happiness. Dear friends, as you know, it is always easier said than done. We need to practice if we have to obtain peace and happiness in our life. But we must know first what to follow. That's why these ideas can be very, very enlightening. There are those who do not realize that one day we all must die. But those who do realize this settle their quarrels. Overcome the angry by non-anger. Overcome the wicked by goodness. Overcome the miser by generosity. Overcome the liar by truth. With goodwill for the entire cosmos. Cultivate a limitless heart, above, below and all around, unobstructed, without hostility or hate. One truly is the protector of oneself. Who else could be the protector? With oneself fully controlled, one gains a mastery that is hard to gain. Easy to do are things that are bad and harmful to oneself, but exceedingly difficult to do are things that are good and beneficial. We should never take the easy path. We should definitely follow the path which is full of impediments, obstacles and challenges. Untraveled path will definitely bring some glory and fortune. One should do what one teaches others to do. If one would train others, one should be well controlled oneself. Difficult indeed is self-control. If a man going down into a river, swollen and swiftly moving, is carried away by the current, how can he help others to cross? Just as a solid rock is not shaken by the storm, even so the wise are not affected by praise or blame. Cooperating is transient. Feeling is transient. Perception is transient. Mental formation is transient. Consciousness is transient. Be it in the past, present or future, whosoever of the monks or priests regards the delightful and pleasurable things in the world as impermanent, miserable and without a self, as diseases and cankers, it is he who overcomes cravings. A corporeal phenomenon, a feeling, a perception, a mental formation, a consciousness which is permanent and persists, eternal and not subject to change. Such a thing the wise men in the world say do not exist, and Buddha too shares there is no such thing in the world. If a person teaches the way in order to transcend the tyranny of material things and to teach how to transcend feelings, perceptions, impulses and consciousness, teaching non-attachment with regard to these, then that person can be called a speaker of the way. If he is himself trying to transcend the pull of the material world and to feel non-attachment towards it, then it is fitting to say that he is living in accordance with the way. If he is liberated by this transcendence and non-attachment, then you can say that he has found nirvana here and now. Dear beloved friends, these are the wonderful ideas put forth by the enlightened Lord Buddha, a person who wanted liberation from the cycle of birth and death. It's my pleasure to present his ideas before you. Thank you, friends, and wish you peace, happiness and prosperity in your life every moment. Thank you indeed.